Most people fail NASM because they focus too much on the 800-page textbook, and you're not looking at the 7 main topics, which I'm gonna help you pass today. Belt buckle trainer, we've helped more than 10,000 people pass the NASM CPT. You came across the SUF CPT too late, you can't get a refund, that's okay. My annoying ass personality, big nose and big biceps will get you to pass this. I taught this stuff for more than 10 years at a school, MPTI. It's the easiest thing to do, but to ask yourself this question: are you a textbook trainer answering multiple choice questions, or are you more kinesthetic? The answer is the latter. You need to get out there and gain hands-on supervision, get access to qualified professionals such as myself and our team, but you need to pass this, so let me help. We're gonna get into the main topics to pass NASM as quick as you can. This is 2026. Human movement science, behavior change, the assessment process, movement compensations with the overhead squat assessment, get your freaking BOSU ball and foam roll and have fun with that shit, and then the training energy systems and key terms. I'm gonna help you pass this, I guarantee it, because the proof is in the pudding. Let's start with the basics. Orientation, we got Mr. Skelly over here. Whoo, we gotta know everything when it comes to anatomy. I'm not talking about origin and insertion and what the actual muscles do. No, they're not gonna ask you that stuff. They're gonna keep it very, very simple. Anterior, posterior, lateral, medial. You need to know those terms, flashcard them. We'll talk about that here in a second. Start with the planes of motion. We have Miss Megan right here. I know my personality is annoying. Most of you can't handle me. The bros get it. People that have been in the gym get it. Oh my God, this book is stupid. But for those that don't like me, I don't care. That's why we bring on great people like Megan and our other instructors who will help you feel secure so you can pass this and move on to helping people, because that's why you got into this. One time in my career, 20 years, I had one person say they got into this outside of helping people. This horny little 18-year-old wanted to do it to meet chicks. God bless his soul. But most of us want to help people. So the foundation, planes of motion, an imaginary line bisecting the body into right and left halves. You need to know that's sagittal. So what are the exercises that are sagittal? Bicep curl. Don't pretend you aren't looking at that big boy right there. Tricep extension. There's a horseshoe. Chin-ups. Walking, running, sprinting, jumping, squatting, lunging, hip thrusting. All of those will be in the sagittal plane of motion, when the body allows for flexion and extension. The definition of flexion is to decrease the angle at a joint, 180 to 90. Extension, tricep extensions, you are increasing the angle at that joint concentrically. Frontal, you're bisecting the body into anterior and posterior halves. That's going to be frontal. And that allows for AB and adduction, bisecting the body into anterior and posterior halves. Abduction, adduction, adding to the midline. Think of a military press, a pull-up or pull-down, jumping jacks, side band walks. Those will all be in the frontal plane of motion. Flashcard the actual definition, and then write down a bunch of exercises. Review the agonist, synergist, and stabilizing muscle groups. That's gonna make your life a lot easier. The last one, transverse, we're bisecting the body into superior and inferior halves, and that's gonna be transverse. What that means is rotation, horizontal adduction, like a chest fly, a reverse fly, focusing on the posterior deltoid, transverse plane of motion. We are sagittal creatures. It's great to train in all planes of motion. They're going to keep it very simple, like we have here with the question within our study guide, which has helped that 10,000 people pass. What plane of motion is a chin-up in? They're going to ask you sagittal, frontal, transverse, or coronal. Another name for frontal is going to be coronal. So the right answer for a chin-up would be sagittal. Frontal is going to be a pull-up. Think of frontal, you cannot go forward. Think of sagittal is forward and back. Anytime that we're going forward and back, flexing and extending, that's going to be in the sagittal plane of motion. Master these. Super easy stuff here. It's confusing in the beginning because you're trying to write out every single flashcard. Don't do that. Within the guide, within our courses, We tell you exactly what you need to know to pass so that you can go out there and start supervising fitness professionals. Let's move into the second topic. Stages of change. Here's a page taken from the guide. We're going to give you terms that you need to know, like a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's an easy question you may get. You're going to have stuff on human movement science, which just went over. Closed versus open. When you're doing open kinetic chain exercise, think of the most distal's furthest away. That is moving. So for example, leg extension, distal portion is moving. That's going to be an open kinetic chain exercise. Whereas closed, the most distal, is not moving. When I have my hands on a bar and I pull myself up, my hands are not moving. That's a closed kinetic chain exercise. You'll probably see a question on that. And then the terminology with agonist, synergist, and stabilizer. Anytime we push, the agonist will be your chest, synergist, your triceps. Stabilizers will always be your rotator cuff muscles, which are going to be your sits. You don't need to know supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres, minor, and subscapularis. You do in real life when you network with physical therapists. Our examination, you have to say them, and that's what levels trainers up. The difference between a qualified trainer and a textbook trainer, qualified trainers understand the human body. Textbook trainers understand their body. You don't want to be an average trainer. You want to turn your passion for fitness into a career. That's why I wrote the book, How to Become a Successful Personal Trainer. That's me right there. Belt buckle trainer. Holy shit. Principles of overload. You need to know that stuff. But you need to get through the textbook so you can apply the kinesthetic aspect. So if we're pushing, chest, triceps, rotator cuff, stabilizers. When we pull, back, biceps, back, main muscle, biceps, small muscle, that will be your synergist. Stabilizer will be your rotator cuff. Any upper body movement, rotator cuff stabilizing. When we do a military press, deltoids, agonist, synergist, triceps, stabilizers, rotator cuff. The opposite antagonist is just the opposite exercise you would do. So if I'm pressing up, the antagonist would be pulling down, which would be a lat, pull down, so your lats would be the antagonist for a military press. Flashcard those and you're gonna be all set. The second portion where people miss a lot of questions, super easy, stages of change. So we need to know right here what the stages are. If you have no plan to exercise, pre-contemplation. Contemplation is now you're thinking about it. I want to start exercising. And then we're going to have preparation. You're working out, but you're just not doing it regularly. With action, you are doing it regularly, just not for 6 months. When you've been doing it regularly, you are now in the maintenance phase. 6+ months of doing it regularly. You're gonna see a good amount of questions with the behavioral change, motivational interviewing, all things that we help you focus on. Now this is the meat and potatoes. You gotta know the assessments, subjective information. You are getting it from the subject. Mr. Skelly right here tells me he's a lawyer. That is subjective information. As the personal trainer, if I obtain it, that's objective. So I put the cuff on the brachial artery right here, pump that sucker up, we get a reading, and it says 120/80, normal blood pressure. That's an objective reading because I took it. If it was 140/90, that would be hypertension. The upper chambers are called the atriums. The lower chambers are called the ventricles. Your heart has atriums on the right and left side, ventricles on the right and left side. You have the SA node right there, which is the pacemaker of the heart. It's controlling the electrical impulses. You also have the AV node. Top chambers are the holding, atriums. Bottom one are the pumping. Those are your ventricles. That's all you really need to know for the heart stuff. I wanted to throw that in there because you will see that within the measurement stuff as well as the assessment. You'll see some questions around that. Such a cool, fancy little pin right there. Let's get back to the main stuff that you're gonna see for the assessments. You need to know everything about the overactive and underactive muscles. They're not going to make it hard. If this anatomy is new to you, if you memorize the right, which will be short or overactive or strong, memorize the weak side, weak, the underactive, the ones you wanna strengthen. 4-2-1-1 tempo, memorize that, get a tattoo right there because that's all stabilization. You need to know those acute variables. So these are the muscles that we need to know. Gluteus maximus, bam, underactive. 4-2-1-1 tempo, that's when you're gonna strengthen it. your mid-back, your rhomboids, as well as your middle and lower trapezius. You have the deep cervical flexors, always underactive. You need to know the VMO, vastus medialis oblique muscle, always underactive, and the anterior tibialis, always underactive. Overactive muscles, you're gonna see that beautiful one right there, that gastrocnemius, as well as the pec major, latissimus dorsi, upper trapezius, psoas, iliopsoas muscle, always overactive. Got a foam roll and stretch those suckers for 14 years, because if you don't, your client's gonna die. Okay, 20 to 40 seconds, same difference. You will see the blanket answers. And what I mean by that is, your client's performing the overhead squat assessment. Oh my God, they're gonna die. Their arms fall forward. One of the answers is gonna be lower traps. One of the answers is going to be your glutes. One will be your psoas. And then the other would be your latissimus dorsi. So how your brain needs to read this is upper body underactive, lower body underactive, lower body overactive. The correct answer would be your latissimus dorsi, upper body overactive. That's how simple it is. We've had people pass this in less than 20 minutes. If you know how they're asking the questions, because all I read that question is overactive upper, overactive lower, underactive upper, underactive lower. The question is asking you about upper body over. That's why you would choose that answer. Know the overactive side, underactive side, and your life will be very, very easy. The test is not hard. It's the way that they ask it. And then you get test anxiety because you spent the last 9 months reading a freaking book. But we are personal trainers. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I know I've already pissed you off already. With the cheat sheet, if you leave a review for the podcast, Show Up Fitness Podcast, type in anything NASM, we have tons of podcasts. Listen to my annoying voice in there and you will pass, I guarantee it, because I just reiterate the meat and potatoes. You will pass it, I guarantee it. Worst case scenario, you fail, ask yourself, would I have been a good, competent trainer if I would have passed? And the answer is no, because that's not what we do. How do you cue someone? You need to get engaged. How do you program on the fly? If you want to get hired at the elite gyms like Lifetime and Equinox, which we have partnerships with, you need years of experience before you even get the interview. Not with the SUF CPT. You get an interview on the spot because they recognize the competence and the confidence in trainers. We're not afraid of sales. We teach that in our course. Business, people skills, the technical skills, the 3 most important skills. All things that I highlight in my book, and I also have a chapter dedicated just to passing NASM, ACE, ISSA. They're all the same. They're a book. Get through it, level yourself up with experience. That's super, super important. All right, let's tackle the OPT model real quick to help you understand those acute variables, which you will definitely see some questions on. So we got this stupid pyramid that you have to memorize. You have the stabilization, which is phase 1. Phases 2, 3, and 4, those are all strength. And then you have 5 at the top, which is power. You need to be in phase 1 or you're gonna die because you're unstable. You gotta be there for a month, then you can move into any one of the phases in strength, 2, 3, or 4. And then after a month, you can go to 5, or if you wanna bounce back down to 1 for whatever fucking reason, you can do that. That's what you have to memorize within the OPT model. These are the acute variables. 4, 2, 1, 1. Always going to be here. 4 means eccentric. A 4-second eccentric squat. I want you to actually time this. 2 seconds isometrically. 1 second concentric, 1 second isometric. If you're supposed to be doing 12 to 20 reps, resting 0 to 90 seconds. How are you math stars? 12 to 20 reps for 8 seconds. You have to count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. 1, 2, up for 1, pause. 1. It's not a dance. You're not a rep counter. We are personal trainers. Don't do this 4, 2, 1, 1 tempo, but that's what you have to memorize for phase 1. The exercise selection. Prone iso ab. Your spine isn't moving, so it's going to be in phase 1. When your spine moves, like when you do a crunch or reverse crunch, it's going to be in phases 2, 3, and 4. When you do something that's more explosive and you throw something or jump, phase 5. You need to know where the exercises go within the OPT model. Your client's doing a single leg scaption. That's a cool exercise. Where would it go in the OPT model? Phase 1. You're balancing. Your client's going to do a stabilization jump for 3 to 5 seconds. Where would it go? Phase 1. Notice how my arms move back and up. Don't freaking jump like Tinkerbell. What the hell are we doing? No, you load up as a strength coach. This is stuff I teach athletic trainers and strength coaches. You load up and then you explode. You get up there as high as you can. You do some cool shit. Maximal explosiveness. You need to throw your arms behind your body and then come up concentrically. You may see in phase 5, amortization. What that means is it's a quick recoil between eccentric and concentric, whereas most of the lifting we're doing 4-2-1-1, this is going to be isometric. That's the difference between phase 5 and phase 1. The acute variables, the rest, the reps, the tempo, and last one's the intensity, 50 to 70%. Phases 2, all you need to know, it's a superset. You're gonna do a bench press into a stability ball press, stupid exercise. You're gonna do a squat into a stability ball squat curl press, stupid exercise. But that's what you need to know for phase 2. It's stable into unstable. You do a military press into a single leg scaption. This is actually real stuff. Look in the book. Hopefully you didn't get it, but if you do, you can see these are all real exercises. For phase 3, muscular development, another funny one, it's actually just hypertrophy. You're gonna be doing a 2-0-2-0 tempo, resting 0 to 60 seconds, 2026. That's why this is outdated. You wouldn't wanna rest for 60 seconds. Optimize hypertrophy with maximal tension. But that's what you need to know for phase 3. The intensity will be 75 to 85. I know you can't read my chicken scratch. We got so many documents that are free out there. Download those, check them out, and just memorize those range, those reps, the rest, and the intensities. Phase 4, 1 to 5 reps, 3 to 5 minutes rest. Intensity will be 85 to 100%. I just call those your bro lifts, your deadlifts, your squats, bench press. Heavier load, 1 to 5 reps, longer rest. Phase 5, actually a decent phase because you have PAP, post-activation potentiation, which is going to be something that's explosive into something heavy or heavy into explosive. So if your client's doing a jump and they do a back squat, which phase is the OPT model? Phase 5. If your client performs a pull-up into a TRX row, that's phase 2. You see the difference? One's unstable. If it's closer to stabilization, it'll be phase 2. If it's closer and more explosive, powerful, phase 5. The things you need to know are power, 1 to 10 reps, 30 to 45%, or 10% of your body weight. That's what you need to know for phase 5. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. You have the acute variables, just memorize them. The exam is going to ask you questions such as, Mr. Skelly right here is doing an overhead squat. Woo-hee! He has knee valgus. Oh God, he's going to die. What muscles are overactive? You're looking for the adductor complex. Next question is going to ask you about stages of change. Your client hates exercising, never liked doing it, no plan on doing it in the future. Which phase? You're going to see it's on the bottom as we just talked about on the one here, pre-contemplation. And then the next question is going to ask about heart anatomy. What is the only artery of the human body that carries deoxygenated blood? All arteries go away, all veins go back. The pulmonary artery is going away, but it's carrying deoxygenated blood. The pulmonary vein is going to the heart, and it's carrying oxygenated blood. They could ask you a question like that, and then they're going to come back to the overhead squat. And your client's doing the overhead squat. Oh my God, he has knee valgus. Oh God, I just killed Skelly. I'm sorry, buddy. What exercise would be appropriate to strengthen his weak muscles? Knee valgus is characterized by internal rotation in the transverse and frontal plane. So we need to be doing band walks with the 4-2-1-1 tempo. Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the answer that you would choose. They would have a push-up on there. They're going to have a plank, irrelevant exercises that are just going to confuse you because you're thinking, I don't know which one it is. You just find the easiest and best answer. They're not going to confuse you. So if we're looking at, they're not going to confuse you. And what I mean by that is they're going to ask you a question about reps, for example. They're not going to say, is hypertrophy or muscular development, is it 6 reps? Is it 8, 10, or 12? No, they're going to say, muscular development, how many reps should you be doing? 3, 8, 15, or 3,500? Or 6,700 with the kids today and 6, 7? Answer would be 8. Super, super easy. What intensity is being used during the stabilization phase? They're going to say 60%, 80%, 90, or 100. Correct answer would be 60 because it's between 50 and 70. So just master those basics and I guarantee you, you will do fine. We have a vocab chart on our website. You can go to the blog. I'm not going to list them all off to you now. My breath's already up there. I have to get fired up for this stuff because it's so stupid, but you need to pass it. Get the vocab list and just write those out. When you're in the car, you listen to my podcast. We have so many ones focusing on NASM. We also have ones from physical therapists debunking the whole entire thing because the cross syndrome is actually not even up to date, but you don't care about that. So don't listen to those ones. Once you pass it, then get into actually understanding human movement. Alrighty, let's get back up here. Check out some other things that will help you. So we have, pass all that stuff. Here is the kicker. Cheat sheet for free. Study guide. We have a discount right now for 75 bucks. That's your meat and potatoes. But if you really want to level yourself up and be like all these trainers who we teach with our partnership at Lifetime and Equinox, again, preferred certification. I was just talking to a kid the other day. He said, I'm thinking about getting my NASM or my SUF CPT. Which one should I do? I said, what do you want to do? I want to work at Lifetime. Well, you're not going to get hired with NASM because you need to go gain about 2 years of experience before they even entertain it. Oh, I don't know. Let me get you in contact with that manager over there because I know all the managers, all 199. We've been to 30 of them. The head honcho prefers our CPT. So I reached out to that manager, connected them. Said, oh, if you even want to get considered here, you got to get your SUF CPT because we teach competency. We teach confidence. We're not afraid of sales. Sales is fun because I can help you get out of pain, lose weight. You want a big old caboose train? I got you covered. And I can do it confidently. Our certification, which is included in this NASM bundle. So we have $500 worth of quizzes, study guides, live calls on demand. So you can just flow through this stuff. No more stress. No more thinking, well, I went to the NASM page and I took one of the quizzes and I got a 50%. I don't know if I'm ready. Yeah, because you just spent an hour on one chapter that they're going to ask you one freaking question on. You got a 50%. What about chapter 13, the OPT model? Oh, I got a 65. 65, that's shitty. I don't even care if you got a 75. You need to be getting a 90 in that chapter because you're going to have 25 questions on the exam. So when you look at the NASM stuff, other YouTubers are telling you, oh, this is a good certification. Look at my website. No, they're teaching you about NASM. I'm teaching you how to become a successful personal trainer. I got nothing against NASM. I love their brand. They're a great marketing company. They are the McDonald's of certifications though. But you came across us too late. So if this makes sense to you, that you want to actually thrive in this career, you need to master the fundamentals. So with our qualified CPT program, we will get you to pass NASM easy, 30 days. And then you can either A, go to one of our seminars. We have 2 every month. Gain that hands-on learning experience. I guarantee you 2 days you'll learn more than any textbook out there. Money back guarantee. That's gonna build your confidence, will help you with your resume, so then you can start going out there and applying and really implementing your passion for helping people change their lives. Or you can get our certification, which is our SUF CPT, which is for life. So you don't have to worry about getting stupid emails from NASM every week. You gotta get recertified. Oh, get the CES. Don't get the CES. Don't get the PES. More textbooks don't equal better quality coaches. If you wanna be a great coach, that's where you come to us. If you wanna just pass the test and go out there and anecdotally and trial and error on people, hopefully you don't hurt them. Oh my God, Skelly's arm just fell off. You don't wanna do that. You get this package, pass NASM that's behind you, and now you can focus on becoming qualified. Mastering the 17 muscles of the shoulder, 20 of the lower body, 8 core movement patterns. Can you tell me the agonist synergist? Submit your videos, program for a guy and a girl, a week's worth of those programs. You get feedback This is good. Let's talk about this right here. Why are you choosing that exercise? I know, I got older brothers. This stuff is annoying to me. I try to make it fun. Also have to remember, it's YouTube. When we go to Lifetime, I cannot tell you how many trainers come up to me and say, do you have the belt buckle on? Oh my God, thank you, you helped me pass NASM. That was the dumbest thing ever. But it took me a couple years to gain experience before I was able to apply here. We've helped so many trainers pass this thing because you came across us too late, and I feel for you. That's why I make these free videos. Pass it and then focus on becoming qualified, and that's what we help you with. Remember, big biceps are better than small ones, and keep showing up.